Today we're diving into a pivotal subject in contemporary global affairs, China's Belt and Road Initiative, also known as the BRI. Launched in 2013 by President Xi Jinping, the BRI is one of the most ambitious infrastructure and economic development projects in modern history. Spanning across continents, its goal is to enhance trade routes and foster stronger economic ties between Asia, Europe, and other parts of the world. However, beneath its infrastructure projects and promises of development lies a broader, more complex story, one deeply intertwined with global geopolitics.
The Belt and Road Initiative is definitely failing, and I don't think it will survive this decade.
The Belt and Road Initiative has evolved into far more than just a development program. It has become a key instrument of Chinese foreign policy, raising questions about true motives and the power dynamics it introduces into the international arena. As we explore the impact of the BRI on global geopolitics, we'll touch on some of the economic transformations it brings to participating countries, the controversies surrounding potential debt traps, and how it shapes strategic competition between China and Western powers. Welcome to the Global Insight. The Belt and Road Initiative is one of the most extensive and ambitious infrastructure investment projects in modern history. Spearheaded by China, the BRI seeks to establish a new global trade network through a series of infrastructure developments, aiming to enhance connectivity between China and more than 140 countries across Asia, Europe, Africa, and beyond. The initiative is structured around two primary components: the Silk Road Economic Belt, a network of overland routes stretching through Central Asia, and the 21st Century Maritime Silk Road, designed to bolster maritime trade by upgrading key seaports and sea lanes. By linking diverse regions with vast transportation, energy, and telecommunications infrastructure, the BRI promises to reshape global trade dynamics. Its geographic scope is staggering, reaching 151 countries as of October 2023, with a combined GDP of roughly $41 trillion and a population exceeding 5.1 billion people. Through the creation of new railways, highways, ports, and energy pipelines, the BRI aims to streamline the movement of goods, capital, and technology, driving economic integration across continents while providing China with expanded access to global markets. At its core, the BRI serves multiple objectives. It's primarily focused on enhancing regional connectivity, fostering economic growth through large-scale infrastructure development, and reinforcing China's geopolitical and economic influence in participating countries. While the initiative promises a new era of development and partnership for many nations, its deeper strategic implications and long-term effects on global power dynamics are becoming increasingly evident. The Belt and Road Initiative offers the potential for transformative economic growth, particularly in developing nations where infrastructure deficits have long been barriers to trade and investment. Through large-scale infrastructure improvements, the BRI can help boost economic development by connecting remote regions to global markets and reducing the costs associated with transporting goods. According to the World Bank, the initiative could lift approximately 7.6 million people out of extreme poverty and an additional 32 million from moderate poverty worldwide. For many of the countries involved, such benefits are unprecedented, offering the prospect of better living standards and stronger economic resilience. At the heart of the BRI's economic promise lies its focus on infrastructure investments. Countries participating in the initiative have witnessed an influx of capital directed towards critical projects like roads, railways, ports, and energy grids. These developments not only modernize outdated infrastructure, but also reduce trade costs, projected to decrease up to 12% along BRI corridors. This reduction can vastly improve market access for local businesses, enabling them to integrate into global supply chains more effectively. In this way, the BRI serves as a catalyst for economic growth, particularly for nations that have historically been left on the margins of global trade. However, these economic benefits are not without significant challenges. Many of the countries participating in the BRI have expressed concerns about their ability to repay the substantial loans tied to these infrastructure projects. For some, the financial strain has raised fears of falling into what critics describe as debt trap diplomacy, a situation where countries become so indebted to China that they cede control over strategic assets or face undue influence on their domestic policies.
China is coming for its pound of flesh in Uganda, a struggling borrower, a big loan, and some ruthless and secretive terms of agreement. We call this a debt trap.
These risks, coupled with the uneven distribution of benefits, have sparked debates over whether the BRI truly delivers sustainable growth or if it leaves developing nations vulnerable to financial instability and political pressure. Debt trap diplomacy refers to a strategic practice wherein a creditor nation, in this case China, provides excessive loans to a borrowing country, often for large-scale infrastructure projects. When the borrowing nation struggles to meet its debt obligations, the creditor can leverage this financial distress to exact significant political, economic, or territorial concessions. This practice has become a focal point in global discussions surrounding the Belt and Road Initiative, as several countries involved in BRI projects have found themselves grappling with unsustainable levels of debt linked to their Chinese-financed infrastructure endeavours. One of the most cited examples of debt trap diplomacy is Sri Lanka's Hambantota port. The country borrowed heavily from China to finance the development of this strategic port, but when it failed to generate sufficient revenue to repay the loans, Sri Lanka was compelled to lease the port to a Chinese state-owned enterprise for 99 years in 2017. This situation not only weakened Sri Lanka's control over a vital asset, but also raised concerns about China gaining undue influence in the Indian Ocean region. Similarly, Pakistan has experienced growing fears over its participation in the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, also known as CPEC, a flagship BRI project. While the initiative has brought significant infrastructure improvements, the mounting debt associated with these projects has raised alarms about the long-term economic stability of the country. Studies suggest that many participating countries could see their debt levels surge dramatically as a result of BRI-related financing. In some instances, nations are projected to face debt increases of up to 50%, further heightening concerns about their economic sovereignty. These developments have prompted critical questions about the ethics of China's lending practices and whether the BRI's true cost is too high for vulnerable economies already struggling with financial constraints. While China often dismisses these claims as exaggerated, the fears of debt dependency and geopolitical influence persist in many countries navigating their involvement in the BRI. The Belt and Road Initiative is not merely an economic venture, it has profound geopolitical implications. Western analysts often view the BRI as a tool through which China seeks to extend its influence and reshape global power structures to its advantage. By positioning itself as the financier and builder of critical infrastructure in key regions, China is establishing deeper political and economic footholds in countries across Asia, Africa, and Europe. This shift in global dynamics has stirred anxieties amongst Western powers who see the initiative as part of China's broader strategy to challenge the post-World War II order traditionally dominated by the United States and its allies. In response to China's growing influence through the BRI, Western powers have scrambled to devise a counter-narrative. One such effort is the Blue Dot Network, a joint initiative launched by the US, Japan, and Australia in 2019. The goal of this network is to promote high-quality, transparent, and sustainable infrastructure developments as an alternative to China's BRI. However, despite its potential, the Blue Dot Network has struggled to generate the same level of traction and scale as the BRI, which has already mobilized vast amounts of capital and political will. As Western nations attempt to rally support for projects that emphasize governance standards, environmental protections, and debt sustainability, they face the daunting challenge of competing with China's expansive and flexible funding model, which often comes with fewer strings attached. The initiative continues to shape global competition, not just in terms of infrastructure, but in the ongoing struggle for influence over the world's future political and economic order. China's Belt and Road Initiative stands as a transformative force in global geopolitics with far-reaching effects on the countries involved. On one hand, the initiative presents substantial opportunities for economic growth, primarily through infrastructure investments that could open up new trade routes and foster development. On the other hand, it brings significant risks, especially regarding debt dependency and the potential for economic and political leverage by China. Furthermore, the geopolitical tensions between China and Western powers only add complexity to the narrative as competing visions for global development and influence come into sharper focus. As nations around the world weigh the benefits and risks of joining the BRI, a deeper understanding of its nuances will be essential for shaping their future strategies. That's it from the team at the Global Insight for now. We want to hear what you think. What are your thoughts on the China's Belt and Road Initiative? How do you think it'll reshape the global balance of power? Are you in one of the countries that have been targeted by the BRI? Share your insights in the comments below. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel here at the Global Insight. And until next time, stay tuned.